video class. This is actually a second one. My name is Tomomi Gariano, certified Zentangle teacher. For this class, you're going to need a black pen, pencil, tortillon, and X-Acto knife, and two papers in different sizes. I'm going to use Zentangle square tile and a Bijou tile. But you can use any paper you would like. And this particular Bijou tile that you see that has no mistakes written is coming from this box. This is a Bijouism tiles that already have all these beautiful Bijou illustration and inspiring sayings. And these tiles inspired me to start this Bijou Messenger project. But you can use regular Bijou tile and add your own message later. So once you have everything, let's get going. The first thing you want to do is you want to decide where this Bijou tile is going to be. So take your Bijou tile and put it on top of the tile or a paper that you're going to tangle. Perhaps like this. And we're going to trace around, but wait, don't do it just yet. We're going to turn this facing down. And we're going to tilt this a little bit like this. You want to angle this. And then we can trace around. The reason why I flipped this tile facing down is when you go around with pencil, sometimes the pencil can betray us and go over a Bijou tile that you're tracing around. So when that happens, if it's the back side of the tile, it's not a big deal, right? And this pencil line is going to be your string, and we'll switch to a pen and start adding tangles and frames. Let's start by creating frame. So I'm tracing over the pencil line that we just added. So if you feel comfortable, you can skip adding the pencil line and directly go in with your pen, trace around your Bijou tile. I personally feel it's easier to trace around with pencil compared to pen, but it's up to you. Before we move along, let me show you where I got inspiration for today's design. This is a page from Project Pack 14. This beautiful lettering is done by Maria Thomas, one of the founders of Zentangle method. And there's a video instruction on Zentangle's YouTube channel. So you can see how Maria does hers, and it's free. So anyways, let's get going. So we're gonna add this ribbon in holy bar fashion, meaning this is going behind this square space. So make sure this line goes behind this and connect to the opposite side and repeat. So now you have a ribbon going behind this Bijou tiles shaped space. And I'm gonna add a little detail to this ribbon, like a little squiggly line or little loops, repeated loops like this. If this feels too much, you can skip this, or you can add different kind of details, perhaps another aura or maybe orbs. But the point is, if you want to add anything outside of this ribbon, you have to do it now before we move on to the next step. So take a moment to decide what you want to do outside of this ribbon. And then we're going to aura around this square space. It's really up to you to decide how wide this aura should be, but please be sure that this is not too narrow, because we want to be able to add some details, whether it's tangle or a texture. So just make sure this space is wide enough, and going all the way around, skipping the part that overlaps with ribbon. Like this. And then add another aura, but this time it's very narrow. It's very closely together all the way around, just like we did. Taking time and make this as even as you can. And always drawing your straight line in a direction that you feel most comfortable. And then aura again, this time inside. So this one is going to go all the way around, because this section comes on top of the ribbon. And this aura, these little narrow auras can be skipped if you feel these are unnecessary. And then we're gonna add a tangle or texture inside the frame. I'm going to do just simple alternating black space and white space. You can see this as a tangled knight's bridge, or you can see this as a simple stripe or border, just alternating black space and white space. Or you can choose any other border tangle if you like. Like for example, this one is filled with orbs. I suggest to keep it simple because it's such narrow space, so you may not be able to add too much details. Then we're going to add tangles. We'll start with a gentle S-curved line, like this, and another one like this, and continue. Make sure that they're not touching with each other. They're almost hooked to the previous one, but they're not touching with each other. This first step is just like how the tangle numerupus starts. That's the one that Maria used in Project Pack 14 video. But I'm going to show you a different tangle. This one is called Scarable, I think. I never know how to pronounce tangle names properly. So this is the tangle that we're going to do today. It's one of Zentangle official tangle. And then from the end of an S curve, you're going to add this fescue-like shape, like arced line with a little dot at the end, swinging to the left, like this. And ideally, this line is going to touch the beginning of next S curve. But if it doesn't, it's not a big deal. You can always extend your next S curve to bring them together, so that you have this kind of wave-like shape. And then we're going to bring our attention to right side and add another fescue-like shape. This time, gently taking off from the bottom half of S curve and going behind this this pointy wave-like shape. You see how this line is going behind this shape? So again, gently taking off, going behind, swinging to the right. So the section that's hidden with the other element, you have to guess where these lines are coming and going. So gently taking off from the right side of S curve, going behind. This is the last one. Like this. And then once you have this fescue-like shape going to the left and to the right, then the last step is to aura the whole thing. Yours may look different from mine, but they're beautiful as they are. So enjoy auraing this beautiful shape. Once you're done on one side, you can flip the tile and aura the opposite side. I didn't flip the tile because I try to avoid turning my tile too much when I'm recording, but I probably would turn my tile if I'm just tangling. So there you have it. It's a tangle called Scarable. And if you have a lot of space left around this tangle, you can add some texture. Just gonna add simple texture by adding light touch. With light touch, I'm adding texture by adding a bunch of straight lines. And I'm intentionally making my stroke lighter to add thinner, wispy lines. And you can do this on both sides, or you can do this just on one side and leave the other side blank, or you can add different textures. So Bijou tile's gonna come in like this. Remember, this is the position we initially placed the Bijou tile before we start tilting. And then we're gonna start adding background tangles. So my initial Bijou tile project, I didn't add anything in this space, but something cool happened when I introduced this project to the community. People start adding their own creativity and making amazing tiles. I have a Bijou Messenger Facebook group, and people have been posting different Bijou tile messenger in this group. And one of the things that I can't remember who started, but was this person added hidden message under the Bijou tile. So you have the first message on the Bijou tile, and when you remove the Bijou tile, you get the second hidden message. And I thought that was such a cool idea. But my concern was that whoever received this Bijou Messenger card won't peek underneath to see if anything is hidden. So when you add these background tangles, you can do any tangles. You wanna make sure that the sum of the tangles are actually going inside and continuing to outside. By doing this, you're essentially letting the recipient know that, hey, there may be something underneath, you may want to check it out. But at the same time, you want to leave enough space to add a hidden message. Or maybe you don't want to add a message, you want to continue with Tangle and have a surprise artwork underneath. Anyways, I think it's important to have some of the tangles, maybe not all of them, but some of the tangles go behind this frame to create a continuity and suggestion. So I'm repeating just Muka and fescue. You can add any tangles that you would like. And I'm just going to do on this side, but you can also see the blank space on upper right corner. You can start on that side as well if you would like. I think I'm happy with what I have, but this space can be tangled as well, like I said. And let's bring back a bijou tile and let's decide how we want to place this. So I'm putting back into the original position. But the point is you want to have all four corners of this bijou tile overlapping with the frame you created. And then I'm going to make a little mark here and a little mark here, indicating where I'm going to make a little opening to slice and to slide this bijou tile. So bring my X-Acto knife and make sure you want to have something underneath, cutting board or maybe an old magazine that you don't need, and make a nice straight cut. So this part is much easier than the first bijou tile that I did. The first one I sliced along the shape of an organic tangle, so that can be a little challenging, but this one is a straight cut, so it's much easier. And you slide this bijou tile in and confirm that the both corner fits like this. Isn't that pretty? But wait, don't forget to, we don't want to forget to shade. So let's take out the bijou tile and we'll do shading. Okay, the first part that I want to shade is right here, where this ribbon is going in or going behind this section. And this is probably the darkest shading that I'm using on this tile. And of course, on the other side too. So depending on the tangles that you picked and how you drew, how you shade will change, and it will be different from mine. But this part, I think everybody has this part that we can shade together. And you can also shade on the bottom side of ribbon, especially if your tile has clear direction, like which side is the bottom side, like mine. I feel like this tile is facing this direction, definitely. But you can also shade both sides to bring this ribbon forward. There's no right or wrong way of shading in Zentangle. We don't have to worry about light source and all this stuff, which is really nice. And I'm gonna add shading to first this side of the frame. So to me, it's the bottom side of the frame. Gonna start from this side, and maybe I will add on the top side too. So you can do just a little by little to see if that's enough, or you need a little more, or you don't have to commit to the whole section from the beginning. You can just add a little bit and decide to see if you need more. And another part that I can definitely I want to add shading is anywhere that the tangles are overlapping. I'm adding a little bit of shading. And then I'm gonna shade my mocha by adding a little smiley face or C-curved line like this, and then gently pulling with my tortillon. I tend to do more of an overall shading first, like this one. I put the ribbon behind the frame and add shading around the frame, those overall shading first, and then add details to each tangle. But that's just me. You may start from adding detailed shading to each tangle and decide how you're gonna structure them by adding overall shading later. Anyways, moving on, I'm gonna add shading around this tangle outside of the outer line. So I'm starting from the side that I added texture, because that side is already dark. That looks nice. And let's do on the opposite side too. So this section looks darker and more gray. And I could add shading to this side as well. Let's see how they're gonna look, but I'm not adding too much shading on this side. I want to keep this side a little lighter since it's nice and white. I want to bring contrast. So I'm not adding too much shading. And I'm adding just a little bit of finishing touch by adding a little bit of rounding on these tight corners. And also right here on Muka. This is just to add a little bit of drama. So this can be done while you're tangling or This can be done while you're shading. And don't forget to add your chop. And then if you have white chalk pencil, and if you would like, you can add a little bit of highlight to bring roundness to this frame. But this is also an option. You don't have to do this, because like you see on the screen, this brings roundness, but also reduces the nice black and white drama there was before I added highlight. So pop your Bijou tile back in, perhaps after you added hidden message. But here's the Bijou Messenger tile for today. Thank you for tangling with me. And always remember, there is no mistakes in Zentangle. And enjoy each strokes and be present. This is a tile from my first Bijou Messenger lesson, and I have other samples like these. Also, you can visit a Bijou Messenger Facebook group to see other people's creative ideas. Thank you for watching and tangling with me.